The world was a different place when TF2 came out, especially when it comes to internet culture. From Rage Comics to MySpace, the internet we use today is practically unrecognizable. This can be mostly owed to how centralized everything is now. Back in the late 2000s, stuff like centralized social media was still in its infancy. Instead of getting everything you want from the same three websites were more specialized and targeted a niche. Whether that be a personal website, a shrine for dancing hamsters, or well, websites centered around specific games. Team Fortress 2 came out in late 2007, and one of the main ways people expressed their love for the game was by creating and congregating around specific websites. Now, nearly 2 decades later, almost all of these websites are down, most are lost, and only some have been archived for our viewing pleasure. That's what we're talking about today, those few TF2-centered websites that we can still look at today. Before we get into the first one, let's talk about this video's sponsor, Hone. You ever had TF2 just run horribly no matter how low you turned those settings down? Hone might be able to help. Trusted by 1 million gamers worldwide, as well as being featured on the Epic Game Store, all for good reason. As soon as you open the app, you can start applying optimizations as you please with nothing but a couple clicks. You can specifically apply presets for Team Fortress 2, just like that. And if you're not satisfied with the optimization, you can revert it just as easily. Personally, I use Hone to run TF2 on my awful potato work laptop. Previously, my laptop would struggle to run TF2 at any higher than 15 frames per second, if even. But after applying Hone's optimizations, I saw a smooth increase from 30 to 60 FPS, finally making the game playable. Hone is free to use, but with Hone Premium, you can get unlimited access to optimizations and no ads. Check it out with the link in the description. Alright, back to the video. I want to start real early with a very charming one. Imagine, it's August of 2007 and you're one hardcore gamer. The one thing you've been hyped about is Valve's upcoming TF2. But there's a whole 2 months before TF2 officially releases, and all you have to chew on is a trailer, some scarce footage and screenshots, and you're just fiending for more. Well, if you're internet user Citizen Caned, you decide to put all that hype and passion into probably the earliest TF2-centered website. This is TotalTF2.com. Or what's left of it anyway. Starting sometime before August of 2007, Total TF2 would be directly focused on showing us as much of the upcoming game as possible. The site would have an official YouTube channel as early as July of the same year, posting, quote, never-before-seen footage of TF2 prior to its release. This was followed up with reposting a Game Trailers interview with Doug Lombardi with their fat-ass watermark on it, of course. They do this for a couple other TF2 videos, including Meet the Soldier. Fun fact, this YouTube upload of Meet the Soldier predates Valve's by like 3 years, which is pretty crazy to think about. So what about the website then? Well, TotalTF2.com was a hub for all things TF2, whether that be videos, screenshots, mods. They even had a special wallpapers and demos section, all of which are unfortunately lost to us now. The earliest snapshot we have of the site is from October 22nd, when the game was just barely 2 weeks old. But even by then, Total TF2 was a busy website, hosting multiple TF2 servers, neat downloads, even impromptu tutorials on how to do the brand new, incredible feature of hosting 32-player servers. They even had a whole system where you could create your own Total TF2 account. Their growth was exponential, to say the least. By November 17th, they started touting themselves as the world's largest TF2 community. They even had an entire dossier of TF2 information, from system requirements to strategies. Keep in mind, this was before TF2 had any semblance of a competent wiki. Player leaderboards, a TeamSpeak server, their London server, elegantly called the Total TF2 House, was almost always full. Suddenly, their claim of being the biggest TF2 community doesn't seem that big of a stretch. The site was constantly growing. Judging from a snapshot of December 27th, they regularly posted TF2 news, shouted out the fledgling TF2 content creation space, and they even had job listings for the website. Like, what? The latter half of 2007 seemed like an incredible time to be on the website. The site's owner capped off the year by saying,
"The staff here at Total TF2 would like to wish you all a happy new year. Let's hope that 2008 will be yet another great year for gaming, and of course, Team Fortress 2. A small update for TF2 has also been delivered by Valve.
So after January of 2008, the site, it fell off the face of the earth. Sometime during the week-long gap between January 5th and 15th, TotalTF2.com was completely obliterated as a domain, and any and all mentions of the site on the internet just ceased. What the hell happened? How did seemingly one of the fastest growing TF2 spaces on the internet just disappear practically overnight? A couple years ago, a guy on ScrapTF tried to connect Total TF2 to that madcap meme/hoax. But I would argue that the real situation is 1,000 times more mysterious without the need for a madcap conspiracy. Total TF2 dissipated into thin air. Its creator, Citizen Kane, has completely disappeared from the internet as well. Believe me, I've tried to get in touch with the people behind this website to no avail. I guess Total TF2's history and disappearance is just going to stay a mystery that we'll never get an answer for.
Until today. No, I'm just kidding. Though I did buy the website domain, which I am working with some very talented people to make it a big TF2 archival project. If you like the sound of that and enjoy TF2 history in general, I wholeheartedly recommend you subscribe, because passionately talking about old TF2 stuff is like what I'm all about.
Figured we could do a more lighthearted entry next. On October 10th, 2007, the domain Ubercharge.net would go up with this introductory post.
Me and a bunch of guys from work have been playing the Team Fortress 2 beta and have been loving it. Sniping, setting people on fire, stabbing people in the back who thought they were our friends, clubbing people who walk slower than us. And then playing a little bit of TF2. We've been spending more than a few hours playing each night and then recapping the events played the next day at work over the ritual morning coffee. We talk a lot of crap and have a few laughs about the crazy stuff in this game, so I figured we could post some of the coffee machine conversations online. Maybe somebody might find them interesting. Which is how we got to Ubercharged.net. Basically a bunch of random ramblings, some of it written sober, about all things related to Team Fortress 2 by professional amateurs.
Ubercharge.net quickly became a satire TF2 blog, posting awesome bangers such as Sniper's backstory revealed as Roman Grant from Big Love, scientific proof Sniper sucked the life out of 2 Fort, TF2 is a satanic, Valve wants to eat your children? Ubercharge.net was for all intents and purposes just a personal blog, but a very, very cool one. They'd shout out up-and-coming TF2 creations like, come on, this pyro candle looks sick. Report on TF2 news in a bit of a tongue-in-cheek way, and of course, write these fun, satirical articles. Eventually, they'd open up a server and Steam group, as the site had a bit of a cult following. It especially had tons of overlap with Control Point, the first TF2 podcast I made a video about. As 2008 rolled by, Ubercharged articles got more elaborate, longer, and funnier. A little side note, on December 12, 2008, Ubercharged user Hayne would release a blog post titled New Contraptions, which was a fun little read about his frustrations with playing engineer. The part I find interesting is this image, which might look similar to the iconic viral teleporter priority spray.
Tired editing indie here. After doing a little teensy bit more research, I found out that yes, this actually did inspire that spray, and they credit it in the original Game Banana upload. I should have mentioned this earlier, but for live and learn, hanging on the end.
As time went on, Ubercharged would have more and more different writers and contributors. Each writer had their own specific style. Some articles were more jokey, while others were more so information-focused. From covering what the easiest achievements are to expressing unbridled rage towards the pyro as a class, honestly, a lot of these articles still hold up today. I recommend reading some yourself. 2009 was such a busy year for Ubercharged, so much so that even Valve was paying attention, with Robin Walker shouting them out on TF2's official blog more than once. The site would go on strong throughout 2009, 2010, and most of 2011. Then, on the midnight of November 29th, 2011, the website got hacked. The hacker deleted everything, from the site's articles to the interface itself. The site's owner, Madlep, posted a blog saying that this is no cause for concern and that the site would be back up once he finds time to fix it. Then, 2012 rolled on with the site not changing whatsoever, and in December, the domain went back up for sale, where now, 13 years later, the domain remains empty, like it was never there. Dang, I guess that really wasn't all that more uplifting. Let's just look at one more. This is Fester's Place. Founded around March of 2008, Fester's Place was an Irish TF2 server network created by, well, Fester, hence why it is his place. Fester's ran an assortment of vanilla and custom maps, and it was nearly always packed with players. Fester hosted an active forum, and in late 2008, Fester opened up a website for the server at festersplace.com.
Well done, everybody. After a lot of hard work by all, it's looking like we've made it finally. 1. A nearly full server most nights. 2. A rockin' server with finally no lag. 2. A kick-ass website and active forum. 4. A bunch of girls and guys that make this place special. I really want to thank you all for sticking with it, from old TF2's slot hacked server to the many server changes to the present day. You all rock, for want of a better word. Ranked 15 in the UK and climbing, and 150th in the world approximately on Game Tracker. Smokes and tokes to all, Jaced 10s.
Fester's had a storied history since 2008. The community behind this server was super dedicated. From game nights to contests, some even had a custom mod that added a dedicated Join Fester's Place button to their main menu, so they could hop on as soon as they booted up the game. It ran pretty consistently from 2008 to 2012, which is a really impressive 5-year track record. After a massive hiatus, a certain event in the year of 2020 brought the Fester's community back together, with their server and Steam group still popping back up to life from time to time, which is really, really sweet. However, there's one special reason I wanted us to look at it, and that's because the website is still up. Look, I'm really passionate and weird about this stuff, trust me. When I found out about 2008's Fester's Place and then clicked on the website only to see that it's still up, I audibly gasped. This means that we can just look at everything. No more incomplete archives and dead images or links or anything like that. And this website is really cool to explore. I think this layout is based on how the 2008 TF2 blog looked, which is awesome. Here's something that made me giggle. You can change the website's theme between red and blue. This doesn't really do anything other than changing the site's primary color. I still think it's really cool though. The news section is the main part of the site, but there's also a very unbiased history section, a basic about with rules, and what about this? What We Say, which is full of testimonials from server regulars. Here's a really sweet one from Dragoon Knight, dated 20th of October 2008.
I hadn't been playing TF2 for long when I came upon this wonderful, magical place, full of drunks and stoners. The people were all very likable, and their humor appealed to me with the weird stories, talking random nonsense. I became a regular, and the server hasn't traumatized me one bit since then, but has helped me become a better player. With people like Jace and Aeon on the mic talking nonsense, and Bosco's legendary singing, it feels like a second home.
There's a whole bunch of these, and they're all really sappy and sweet. Section of recent lottery draws, an empty page that was full of Highlander demos. Oh, what about this? Downloads. Here, a bunch of server regulars uploaded their screenshots. These range from funny ragdolls to some undoubtedly sentimental moments. There's also albums of some server-exclusive maps like CP Swamplands. Looks pretty gnarly. I love this website, and I'm so happy it's still up and that I had the chance to look through it in its original, ever-charming state. Shout out to Fester and his awesome place. I guess the way we engage with TF2 is so fundamentally different now, and yet kinda the exact same. If you're like me and you mostly play on community servers, you're likely part of some TF2-centered Discord or have a group of friends to play TF2 with. I guess the only difference now is how samey it all is. Gone are elaborate and unique-looking websites, and in are the same 2 social media pages and same-looking discords. So what's the conclusion here? That things used to be good and now they suck? Yeah, no. Unlike other certain TF-tubers, I don't like to make my whole purpose in life to be constant bitching, longing, and complaining. If you're already this far into the video, I might have the closest thing to Fester's Place for you. My friends and I have been growing a TF2 community called Swishcast. We have a Discord, podcast, a TF2 server where we constantly host fun events on crazy forgotten maps you've never seen before. We even have a scuffed website too, so you're in for a true 2008 experience here. I'll have the Discord link in the description, and I hope to see you there. Anyway, I found way more than 3 old TF2 websites worthy of discussion, so if you maybe want to see a part 2 to this video, let me know in the comments. My name's Indy, and I hope you stick around.